First High Class 3. The job awakening ceremony is about to begin. This is a critical moment, a turning point that'll shape everyone's future. I'm hoping my first job will be a holy mage, becoming a walking fortress, blasting through demonic beasts and defending First High's honor. Are you out of your mind? A mage is one thing, but a holy mage, that's a hidden first-tier job. The odds of triggering it in a regular awakening ceremony are less than 1 in 100 million. You think you're some chosen one or what? The classroom buzzed with nervous chatter, students on edge, their voices a mix of excitement and dread. The triennial job awakening ceremony was about to kick off, a ritual that would decide the fate of every high schooler in the room. No one dared take it lightly. Evan Sheen sat in the third row by the window, letting out a slow breath. His gaze drifted outside, his mind tangled with complex thoughts. As a transmigrator, Evan had crossed into this parallel world 7 years ago. Over those 7 years, he'd gradually adapted to this strange new reality, picking up its language and culture. A century ago, this world had undergone a cataclysmic shift. A time-bending game called Divine Realm had merged with reality, expanding Earth's surface area by tens of thousands of times. Countless secret realms and dungeons appeared, monsters ran rampant, and global disasters reshaped the world. In this new era, the Awakened emerged. To combat the chaos, anyone who turned 18 and reached level 10 had to participate in the job awakening ceremony to unlock their first-tier job. Some awakened to combat jobs, soaring to great heights. Others ended up with lifestyle jobs like chef. Clearly, first-tier jobs came in all shapes and sizes. At the top of the pyramid were combat jobs, mages, archers, warriors. Then came enhancement jobs, enchanters, blacksmiths, alchemists. And the vast majority, often met with groans, were lifestyle jobs, cooks, miners, herbalists. But here's the thing. A cook, in this world, wasn't just some guy flipping burgers. A first-tier lifestyle job like cook was worlds apart from an ordinary chef. A cook could whip up dishes that boosted and awakened stats in a flash. Long-term consumption could even make those boosts permanent. Meanwhile, a regular chef? They just filled bellies. In short, successfully awakening any job, even the humblest lifestyle one, meant joining the ranks of the awakened, elevating you above ordinary folk and into a league of your own. Up at the podium, the teacher was in full lecture mode. Before the ceremony, he was meticulously breaking down the traits and career paths of thousands of first-tier jobs for the students. No question about it. The top 3 combat jobs are every awakened's dream, the ultimate prize within reach. But do the enhancement and lifestyle jobs trailing behind them lack potential or a future? Not at all. The teacher used enchanters as an example. Early on, enchanters had a tough grind. Leveling up and mastering material properties demanded a ton of resources. Without a powerful family or serious wealth, breaking through that initial hurdle was brutal. But once an enchanter hit their stride, those so-called flaws became their greatest strengths. Even enchanting the most basic weapon could net an enchanter a paycheck that'd make an ordinary person's jaw drop. Mark my words, no first-tier job is useless. That's for every single one of you. Of course, your talent and unique traits will ultimately shape the path your first-tier job takes. The teacher wrapped up his speech. Below the podium, the word talent sparked a fresh wave of murmurs. After the global upheaval, everyone was born with an awakened talent, ranked from F to S. The rank and nature of your talent heavily influenced your first job awakening. The homeroom teacher had drilled this into them countless times, but Evan still listened intently. His awakened talent was E+, mastery of precision, a thoroughly average ability. But Evan had no interest in becoming a cook. His sights were set on becoming a combat job holder. Why? Because among the thousands of first-tier jobs, combat jobs had the highest earning potential. When Divine Realm fused with the real world, Dragon Nation rolled out a policy. Before your first job awakening, the state provided unlimited resources. After that, you were on your own. Want to level up? Need gear or weapons? You'd have to hustle for it. Not everyone was born with a silver spoon or a powerful clan backing them. After the first awakening, there'd be a second, a third. As a regular guy, Evan faced a harsh reality. How was he supposed to support himself? The biggest reason combat jobs reigned supreme was that even resource-heavy ones like mechanists or summoners could sign contracts with mounts. dive into dungeons, hunt monsters, and cash in on beast materials. But, in the last awakening ceremony, barely anyone with an E-tier talent unlocked a combat job. Even though Evan consistently outperformed in class, his low talent rank was a glaring weakness. Top! Someone clapped a hand on his shoulder. A round, chubby face popped into view. I'm screwed. Man, talent stone skin. I'm probably getting a first-tier enhancement job this time. Evan, you got E+ talent, right? That's even lower than mine. You decided on your first job yet? The guy was Danny Fong, seated behind Evan, known for his motor mouth. Not yet. Guess I'll leave it to luck. Evan clearly wasn't in the mood to chat. Danny, luck? Seriously? In the last ceremony, talent ranks directly correlated with first-tier job outcomes. Take Danny. His D-talent made an enhancement job the most likely outcome, though there was a chance he'd land a lifestyle job. And Evan's talent was even lower. What's that? An E+ talent dreaming of a combat job? You think you're Lady Luck's secret love child or something? Not impressed, Danny turned to chat up a girl nearby. At that moment, ding, the job awakening ceremony is about to begin. System activating. System connection established. Newcomer gift package issued. Would you like to claim it? Ding. Newcomer gift package contains SSS tier talent, Beast Harmony. A system prompt blared in Evan's mind out of nowhere. First high school field. Boom. A mage in a flowing moonlit robe, staff raised high, channeled a surge of mana into the massive magical array on the elevated platform. The array hummed to life, 7 radiant pillars of light. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, ignited by the magic. The job awakening ceremony officially began. I'll call each student's name. Step into the array when called. The array will automatically assess your attributes, talents, and determine your first-tier job, the mage announced. Number Satu, Liam Young. As the first to awaken, Liam Young stepped into the array, his nerves a tangled mix of excitement and dread. The moment he stood on the platform, the 7 colored pillars blazed above the array. Brilliant beams of light cascaded over Liam, enveloping him completely. What job will Liam get? Someone whispered. He's the first up, and his stats are solid. D+ talent, too. The school probably planned for him to set a strong start. I'm betting on a combat job for his first awakening. A minute later, above the array, a glowing rune depicting a blazing flame materialized over Liam's head. A flame rune? Is that a made for his first-tier job? No, wait. It's an enhancement job. Blacksmith rune. The result hit like a bombshell. The crowd erupted in gasps and murmurs. Liam was a top student, not from the elite class 1, but his balanced stats and D+ talent made him stand out. If someone like him could fail, what hope did the others have? The outcome was a gut punch for Liam. Stepping out of the array, his eyes red and teary, he slunk back to his seat in Class 5, deflated like a punctured balloon. Class 5's homeroom teacher, Mr. Xie sighed. Liam was his star pupil, a key prospect groomed for greatness. But now, all Mr. Xie could offer were a few words of comfort. There was little else he could do. The morning wore on, and the ceremony passed its halfway mark. Some students celebrated, others sulked. Below the platform, the teachers mingled. Hey, old Zhao, how's your class doing? How many got first-tier combat jobs? Mr. Fong, Class 1's homeroom teacher, smirked. Class 1 was the elite group, handpicked from the school's best. 3. Mr. Zhao, Class 3's teacher, grumbled. Mr. Fong's smirk widened, sensing an opportunity to needle his rival. Only 3? We got 6 in Class 1 with first-tier combat jobs. Step it up, old Zhao. The school board's watching from the stands. The two teachers had never gotten along, always seizing any chance to one-up each other. Mr. Fong usually held the upper hand. As the head of the elite class, he had the school's top talent under his wing. What did Zhao have to compete with? Oh, our Class 3's Max Wong landed a first-tier combat job too, Mr. Zhao shot back. You'd better watch yourself, old Zhao. Your class's performance this year. Mr. Fong chuckled, trailing off. Let's just say the principal was smiling at me earlier. My class is killing it. Mr. Zhao's blood boiled. The guy's smugness was insufferable. But what could he do? Unless Class 3 somehow pulled off a miracle in this ceremony, like awakening a hidden first-tier job. Fat chance. Not just in their small city of River Station, but even in major Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities, hidden jobs were practically a myth, appearing maybe once in countless ceremonies. The odds? 1 in 10,000? 1 in a billion? If Class 3 could awaken a hidden job, I'd be over the moon. Then we'd see who's laughing, Mr. Zhao thought bitterly. But he knew it was a pipe dream. Better odds of napping and dreaming up a miracle. Next, Class 3, Evan Sheen. In the lineup, Danny Fong, ever the loudmouth, shouted, "Teacher, it's Evan." Evan's up. Evan's E-plus talent was a notch below Danny's D-dash. By comparison, Danny had a slight edge. Mr. Zhao glanced at Danny's enthusiastic yelling and sighed inwardly. Already swapping places. Evan and Danny were the class's invisibles, kids who usually flew under the radar. Mr. Zhao barely paid them much attention. Not wanting to dampen Danny's spirit, he offered a vague response. Your talents aren't that different. Based on past ceremonies, Evan's E-plus talent likely points to a first-tier lifestyle job. If he's lucky, maybe an enhancement job. You two should prepare yourselves mentally. Boom! A split second later, the magical array erupted with earth-shaking changes. Massive phantom figures burst through the array, materializing in the void under countless shocked gazes. What the hell is that? Is this a divine omen? The crowd was stunned, then exploded into chaos. Roar! A deafening dragon's cry thundered, shaking the air like a storm. Above the array, a colossal phantom took shape, blurry at first, indistinct. But as the earth-shattering dragon roar echoed through the sky, the figure solidified. Dragon head, dragon wings, dragon body, dragon tail. A gigantic dragon, 30 feet long with wings that blotted out the sky, materialized above Evan's head. At the same time, over 100 phantom beasts began to appear. A legion of beasts, filling the heavens and earth, bowed in reverence. Holy crap, it's a divine omen. A real divine omen. The students were floored, craning their necks, but still unable to take in the full spectacle of the beast horde. The dragon's phantom dominated, exuding a terrifying aura, the overwhelming pressure of dragonkind. Its vast presence made everyone below feel like ants, instinctively wanting to kneel in awe. Teacher, it's Evan. He's causing this. My God, what's happening? In the lineup, Evan's classmates were choking on their shock. Even Mr. Zhao, who'd barely noticed Evan before, was now dumbfounded. Countless stunned gazes locked onto the beastly phantoms. The dragon raised its head, letting out a deep, majestic chant in an ancient dragon tongue. Dragon, lord of 10,000 beasts. Under the sun's light, the dragon's spirit and soul are eternal. The cryptic dragon tongue reverberated in everyone's hearts, its meaning somehow instinctively understood. A second later, the dragon flapped its wings gently, and the array's void churned with sand and stone, whipping up a terrifying vortex. Roar! Roar! At the dragon's cry, most of the beast phantom shattered. A few held firm, but trembled and knelt in submission. Crackle! In an instant, the beast horde and the dragon phantom shrank, condensing. The massive figures vanished, leaving only a single glowing point radiating a mystical aura. Whoosh! A beam of light shot toward Evan, flashing on his forehead before vanishing, leaving behind a mysterious mark. Ding! Congratulations! You have acquired SSS tier talent, Beast Harmony. Evan's body jolted, his attributes spiking by 7 or 8 points in an instant. His physical condition had never felt better. His body thrummed with explosive power, like he could pulverize a boulder with one punch. More crucially, Evan's presence had shifted. He now exuded an innate ability to connect with and command beasts. At this moment, the school leaders on the platform finally regained their composure. Having witnessed that spectacle firsthand, even they were left stunned and incredulous. Principal, if I'm not mistaken, this student awakened a new talent during the job awakening ceremony. Class 3's homeroom teacher, Mr. Zhao, said, his eyes brimming with excitement. There had indeed been precedents for this in past ceremonies, though such cases were exclusive to major Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities. Judging by this commotion, the awakened talent is at least A tier, maybe even S tier, another teacher speculated. This is fantastic for our school. Ha! The principal exclaimed, unable to hide his glee. In truth, before Evan Sheen's turn, the other students' performances in this ceremony had been passable at best. A dragon apparition with a horde of beast phantoms? The principal continued. It seems this student's first-tier job is tied to dragons. Could it be a dragon tongue mage? or a dragon blood warrior. Excellent, truly excellent. Finally, this ceremony has produced a promising seedling. The principal clenched his fists, his excitement palpable. Dragon tongue mage, dragon blood warrior. Both were hidden jobs. Could it be? Our little Tier 8 city, First High, is about to produce a student with a hidden first-tier job, even if it wasn't dragon-related, say, a beast tamer. It would still be a top-tier combat job. At this point, countless onlookers were so tense their palms were sweating. I was glued to Evan Sheen, still in the midst of his awakening. A 1 in a billion chance. If this student secured a hidden first-tier job, his future achievements would be monumental. As long as he didn't fall prematurely, becoming a powerhouse was only a matter of time. Envy, excitement, overwhelming joy. The principal had already made up his mind. If Evan Sheen awakened a hidden first-tier job, from this day forward, First High would spare no resources to nurture him. This wasn't just about Evan. It concerned the future of the entire school, the school's reputation, next year's enrollment numbers, government funding. One person's success could lift the whole school. First High would ride Evan's coattails to glory. Evan, of course, was oblivious to all this. The ceremony had reached its final stage. Boom! Above the magical array, the 7 colored pillars of light intertwined, beams shooting toward Evan. A minute later, a rune radiating a mystical aura materialized, hovering within Evan's reach. This rune, this aura, no mistake, it's a hidden job. The kid, he did it. As the rune appeared, the school leaders leapt to their feet, eyes locked on the rune, breathing heavily, their hearts racing with excitement. Crack! Within the array, Evan extended his right hand, gently touching the rune. It shattered effortlessly. The rune dissolved into dazzling light, merging into his body. First-tier job awakening, complete. Whoosh! Almost simultaneously, a loud crash rang out as a figure shot from the platform like a cannonball. It was the principal. He'd stomped so hard on the table that it splintered. In a blur, he stood before Evan, who'd just completed his awakening, his face flushed with excitement, eyes bulging as if they might pop out. Evan Sheen, what's your first-tier job? Dragon blood warrior? Dragon tongue mage? His massive hands clamped onto Evan's shoulders, nearly crushing him. The principal's emotions were a powder keg, ready to explode at the slightest spark. Facing the principal's blazing gaze, Evan saluted respectfully and answered clearly. My hidden first-tier job is Dragon Rider. The principal. The crowd. Dragon Rider? What kind of job was that? Controlling dragons? Everyone exchanged bewildered looks. Even the erudite principal was stumped. Never heard of this job before, but the name sounded pretty badass. Thankfully, Evan, now awakened, provided details about the job. As suspected, Dragon Rider was exactly what it sounded like, a higher-tier version of Beast Tamer. While Beast Tamers bonded with demonic beasts, Dragon Riders bonded with holy dragons or creatures with subdragon bloodlines. The principal's expression shifted rapidly, his gaze fixed on Evan. Anxiously, he asked, You're sure? You can only bond with holy dragons or subdragon bloodlines? No other demonic beasts can substitute. Evan nodded slightly. Confirmed. Moreover, the dragons a Dragon Rider bonded with had to have pure bloodlines. Even the lowliest earth dragon, if its dragon blood was too diluted, would be automatically rejected by the bond. The principal's face froze, settling into an indescribable expression, like he'd been doused with ice water. The initial euphoria gave way to crushing disappointment. Like him, the thousands in attendance wore similar looks after hearing Evan's explanation of Dragon Rider. Dragon Rider? Sounds crazy cool. Huh? In this day and age, forget actual dragons. Those are near mythical. Even subdragons, the weakest ones, are equivalent to 3rd or 4th tier powerhouses, right? Useless. Totally useless. You're just a first-tier rookie, and you think you can bond with a dragon? Keep dreaming. Dragon Rider? First, you need a dragon. Evan had already said the Dragon Rider bond automatically rejected beasts without pure dragon blood. So this kid awakened to loneliness? The principal's face darkened, twitching as he patted Evan's shoulder, trying to console him. It's fine. It's still a hidden job, and an unprecedented one at that. Even if its potential isn't clear, it's got research value. At least. Research value? Puffed. Some couldn't hold it in, spitting out their drinks. Oh, principal, do you have to be that savage? A kid awakens a hidden first-tier job, and you're talking about dissecting him for research? Talk about a plot twist. Countless people swung from hope to despair, glancing at Evan, who seemed unfazed. Is this guy in shock? He's probably lost it, right? If he could bypass the bond restrictions, forget holy dragons or sub-dragons, maybe flying dragons or earth dragons? Flying dragons? No way. Unless it's an earth dragon with the faintest trace of dragon blood, the absolute bottom of the dragon hierarchy. But what's the point? All demonic beasts have unique, innate talents. Lowly, pathetic earth dragons? Not only are they barely recognized as dragonkin, but they've lost their own innate talents. 1 second at the peak, the next in the abyss. That's a speed run from genius to zero. Anyone would lose it. Poor guy. The college entrance exams in a month. How's he going to handle it? A frail beast tamer. Fighting secret realm monsters head-on. Maybe bond with an earth dragon. My family used to have a scrawny dog. Heard it had a drop of dragon blood. Huh. The chatter swirled. Before leaving, the principal gave Evan stern instructions. The college entrance exam was a month away, held in a secret realm. Avoid monsters if possible. If lucky, collect materials and experience from low-tier beasts to scrape by. Meanwhile, a system prompt chimed in Evan's head. Ding! Congratulations, host, for activating a challenge mission. Mission objective. In 1 month, during the college entrance exam, aim to rank top 1 in the city, becoming the city's top scholar or higher. Excellent score. City top scholar / perfect score. Provincial top scholar. Mission rewards. Ding. The system has issued a daily mission. Please complete it promptly. The jeers and mocking whispers from his classmates rolled off Evan Sheen like water off a duck's back. He returned to his seat in the classroom, settling in quietly. His mind was wholly absorbed by the sudden appearance of the system, having devoured countless web novels in his past life. He instantly recognized this as his very own golden finger finally revealing itself. As expected, what transmigrated didn't come with a cheat code. Complete achievement missions, and the system will grant the host corresponding lavish rewards. Failure to complete missions will result in severe penalties for the host. To facilitate the system in rewarding the host with profession-specific benefits, please select a profession promptly. Does the host wish to bind a profession Dragon Rider? Faced with the system's prompt, Evan didn't hesitate. He chose yes. There was no other option. This was the hand he'd been dealt. The good news? Dragon Rider was a combat profession. The bad news? He didn't have a single dragon. Worse still, the Dragon Rider profession had been lost to history for ages. Information about it was scarce, and skill books for the profession were practically non-existent. As if sensing Evan's frustration, the system chimed again the moment he confirmed his choice. Ding! Host has successfully bound the profession. Congratulations, host, for activating the Supreme Beast Mastery System. Now granting the host the corresponding profession starter pack. Congratulations, you have received 1 dragon egg. Please check the system's dedicated inventory. A dragon egg? The starter pack was a dragon egg. The system was clutch, delivering exactly what he needed. Open the system inventory, Evan commanded silently. A deep blue interface materialized before his eyes. The moment it appeared, Evan froze. Holy crap. He was still in the classroom. If anyone saw this system interface, it'd stir up all kinds of trouble. Glancing around nervously, Evan noticed no one was paying attention to the glowing blue panel. Instead, a few classmates, amused by his Dragon Rider awakening, shot him pitying or scornful looks. Phew! The system interface, unlike his personal status panel, was visible only to him. Relieved, Evan focused on the inventory. There, nestled quietly, was a vibrant crimson dragon egg. Its surface shimmered with intricate golden veins, radiating an aura that screamed extraordinary at a glance. Using Appraisal I, a common skill everyone had, the egg's details popped up before Evan's eyes. Dragon Egg, SSS, can be tamed using Dragon Taming Art. Upon successful taming, you will gain a juvenile blazing holy dragon as a dragon companion. Note, juvenile blazing holy dragons favor Divine Fire Marrow above all. Offering Divine Fire Marrow during taming significantly increases the success rate. Divine Fire Marrow? That's an S-tier treasure. How am I supposed to get that? Evan's expression shifted at the note. Fine, Let's try taming it directly with dragon taming art and see what happens. Decision made. Evan gathered his things and left the classroom with a faint smile. His classmates were baffled. This guy awakened as a dragon rider and was still grinning? Was he cracked in the head? Evan finally returned to what he called home, the Serenity City Orphanage. That's right, like every stereotypical transmigrator protagonist, he was an orphan, alone in the world. But Evan's case was a bit unique. According to the orphanage caretaker, he'd been abandoned. In other words, his biological parents were likely alive and well. Evan, however, had no interest in tracking them down. The moment they left him behind, he'd cut all ties in his heart. Big brother Evan's back. The moment he pushed open the orphanage gate, a gaggle of adorable kids swarmed him, tugging at his pant legs and clambering up his body. In no time, Evan looked like a tree festooned with tiny monkeys. At the orphanage, Evan was close with the kids, sharing a deep bond with them. "Evan, you're back," a warm voice called. Hearing the commotion, a middle-aged woman, somewhere between 40 and 50, stepped out from the courtyard. Her face was kind, her eyes gentle. She was Annie, the caretaker who looked after all the kids, including Evan, whom she'd raised from infancy. Her profession was cook, and like Evan, she had an E+ talent, culinary mastery. "Yup, I'm back," Evan replied with a smile. "What job did you awaken?" "Cook, maybe?" Annie asked, chuckling. She understood the importance of job awakening, but never pressured the kids. Many who left the orphanage ended up with lifestyle jobs, not combat ones. "Not a cook, that's for sure." "It's a secret. I'll tell you in a few days," Evan said, deliberately vague to avoid worrying her. "What's with the secrecy?" "Come on in, dinner's ready," Andy said. After the meal, Evan retreated to his small, simple, well-worn room and pulled up his status panel. Name, Evan Sheen. Age, 18. Level, 10. Profession, Dragon Rider. Talent, Beast Harmony, SSS. Core attributes, Strength 15, Intelligence 15, Constitution 15, Agility 15. Profession skill, Dragon Taming Art S. Dragon Taming Art S active skill. Used on dragon eggs or dragonkind, with a certain chance to tame the target, making it your dragon companion. Typically, new awakens started with 10 points in each core attribute. Thanks to his SSS tier talent Beast Harmony, Evan had gained an extra 5 points per attribute. It wasn't a huge boost, but Evan knew the real power of Beast Harmony wasn't in raw stats. It made demonic beasts, spirit beasts, and even divine beasts naturally take to him, while massively enhancing all Beast Tamer skills. As a hidden variant of Beast Tamer, Dragon Rider reaped the same benefits. For now, though, Evan only had Dragon Taming Art, so he couldn't fully test Beast Harmony's potential. But I could try using Dragon Taming Art on this dragon egg. Let's see if it works. Evan summoned the SSS tier dragon egg from the system's inventory. The dragon egg was the size of a human head. Its shell far from ordinary white. Instead, it blazed a fiery red, etched with golden veins that pulsed with an ethereal glow. Just holding it sent waves of heat through Evan's hands, turning the small room swelteringly dry. And Evan could even sense the egg's breathing rhythm. Hiss! Evan took a deep breath. Then, without hesitation, he activated his profession skill on the egg, Dragon Taming Art. Regrettably, taming failed. Regrettably, taming failed. Regrettably, taming failed. Regrettably, taming failed. What the? Under Evan's incredulous stare, he burned through his entire mana pool and still couldn't tame the egg. The success rate was abysmally low. What shocked him even more, he could sense a soft, almost petulant hum from the juvenile dragon inside the egg. It was as if it were saying, "No divine fire marrow? Don't even think about taming me." Ugh, seriously. Evan scratched his head, exasperated. First, he worried about not having a dragon. Now he had a dragon egg, but couldn't tame it. Divine fire marrow, an S-tier treasure? He couldn't afford that even if he sold himself. Ding! As if sensing his dilemma, the Supreme Beast Mastery System chimed in. Congratulations, host, for activating the Novice Mission. Novice Mission. Phase 1, head to the Dusky Forest Mountains and slay 30 feline beasts. Mission completion rewards. 1 vial of Divine Fire Marrow. 20 free attribute points. Mission failure penalty, none. Time limit, 3 days. Please complete the mission promptly. This system was clutch. Seeing the mission pop up, Evan's eyes lit up. He needed divine fire marrow, and the system delivered. Of course, he couldn't get too excited yet. This was a mission to hunt 30 feline beasts. With his current strength, completing it would require extreme caution. The Dusky Forest Mountains, located on the outskirts of Serenity City. This range had emerged during the world's upheaval, spawned by the shifting maps of the Divine Realm forums. It was home to countless demonic beasts and monsters, teeming with valuable resources. Adventurers often formed teams to explore it, and that brought up a key player, the Adventurers Guild. Many awakened, after graduating high school or college and not heading to the front lines, chose to become adventurers. They'd join adventuring teams, picking up quests posted at the guild. Completing them earned cash, items, or gear as rewards. Naturally, these quests were often funded by wealthy sponsors. Every nation tacitly supported the Adventurers Guild's existence. The reason was simple. Wild monsters occasionally invaded city borders. Adventurers, by hunting in secret realms and wilderness zones, indirectly guarded the borders, contributing to national defense. It's dangerous, but to tame this dragon egg, I've got no choice but to go. Evan bit his lip, resolve hardening. Without divine fire marrow, taming this precious egg could take forever, and the college entrance exam was just a month away. With that in mind, Evan donned the basic white tier level 10 armor and weapon issued by the school, left a note, and slipped out of the orphanage, heading for Serenity City's Adventurers Guild. When Evan arrived at the guild's bustling hall, he was struck by the sheer energy. It was only 3 or 4 in the morning, but made sense, with divine realm and reality intertwined. Monsters and beasts in the wild respawned cyclically. Rare treasures and resources also reappeared at random times and locations. A lucky find could make an adventurer rich overnight. For regular adventurers, that was a life-changing haul. Plus, adventurers competed to snag quests. Simple, low-difficulty quests were rare, often snapped up the moment they were posted. Harder quests? Few dare take them. Miss a deadline, and you'd owe contract penalties. Following the early bird gets the worm principle, even at dawn, adventurers crowded the hall screens. Phones ready to claim quests. Notably, Evan spotted several student-looking awakened in the crowd. That was normal. Many students who'd awakened took on simple quests in their free time to earn pocket money. Hey, isn't that Evan Sheen? Quickly, a few students in the crowd gasped in surprise. Evan turned. It was 3 classmates, Jake Joie, Kevin Liu, and Sophie Sue. 2 guys, 1 girl. What are you doing here? Jake Joie, with a roguish, thuggish vibe, smirked. He'd awakened as a warrior. Spotting Evan, he sauntered over, his grin mocking. Kevin Liu, a bespectacled guy, had awakened as a mage. Sophie Sue, delicate and poised with a gentle aura that made you want to protect her, was a priest. Warrior, mage, priest. Tank, damage support. A solid adventuring team. Just earning some cash. Evan said, obviously not about to reveal. I'm here for a system mission. You sure? I thought you were a dragon rider? A hidden job, and it's that useless? Jake laughed loudly. Kevin chuckled along. They'd initially thought Evan would skyrocket to genius status. Who knew he'd end up with Dragon Rider? The weakest job? Sophie didn't look at Evan or join in the taunting. She merely glanced around with a cool, detached gaze. Evan had heard about Sophie's background. Rumor was she was a rich heiress. Just look at the staff in her hand, embedded with 3 magic crystals. At least a level 10 purple tier weapon. Gear tiers from low to high were white, blue, purple, gold, spirit artifact, sacred relic. Above sacred relic were mythic tier items. Don't mind this guy, Miss Sue. What quest did you pick? We'll make sure it's done. Just stick with us. Jake fawned. Clearly, Jake and Kevin were Sophie's lackeys. Of course, that had nothing to do with Evan. The trio snagged a few quests to kill feline beasts or collect their claws. Then they boarded a bus to the Dusky Forest Mountains. At that moment, Sophie, Jake, and Kevin got on the bus, followed by 3 burly level 14 men. The bus pulled up to the entrance of the Dusky Forest Mountains just as dawn broke at 5 in the morning. The valley echoed with the chorus of chirping birds, buzzing insects, and croaking frogs. Evan stepped off the bus, ignoring Sophie Sue, Jake Joie, and Kevin Liu, and headed straight into the Dusky Forest Mountains. Don't worry. With us big guys here, this quest's as good as done. One of the burly men trailing Sophie boasted, pounding his chest with a hearty laugh. Sophie frowned slightly at this. She hadn't wanted these three rough-looking men joining their team. But Jake and Kevin, intimidated after a few harsh words, had quickly agreed to let them tag along. With things already set, they had no choice but to move out. Evan was tempted to warn Sophie that teaming up with those thug-like adventurers was a bad idea. Better to steer clear entirely. These lazy, black-hearted adventurers were the worst kind, ruthless and opportunistic. Betraying teammates, backstabbing, killing for loot, if it meant profit, they'd do anything. And Sophie, a beautiful, wealthy girl, in the sparsely populated, monster-infested, dusky forest mountains? Those hungry wolves would almost certainly make a move on her. But their fate wasn't his problem. Evan wasn't some saint. With that thought, he pulled up his map and headed toward a secluded area. Along the way, Evan spotted plenty of common demonic beasts that could make for tasty meals. Like horned spirit deer, armored wild boars, or unicorn rabbits, low-tier beasts with succulent, fatty meat, perfect for cooking. But today, Evan wasn't here to hunt for food. He was here to complete the system's novice mission. Soon, he reached a small valley. There, he found his mission targets, feline beasts, perched in a tall tree overlooking the valley. Evan activated the universal skill appraisal, I, to scan the creatures. Monster, feline beast. Level, 11. Type, beast monster. Skills, bite, frenzy. Aptitude, black iron. Note, a common monster in the dusky forest mountains, fond of using claws and fangs to tear enemies apart. Under appraisal I, the feline beast details appeared clearly. Roughly 30 to 40 of them roamed the valley. Charging in head-on would be suicide. Honestly, this mission's difficulty was beyond what an average student could handle. Even school teachers would struggle against a pack like this. But Evan had a plan. Don't forget his profession. Beast Tamer, hidden variant, dragon rider. And he had the SSS tier talent Beast Harmony. While dragon taming, Art couldn't tame these feline beasts. Beast Harmony would make dealing with him a breeze. Of course, even with an SSS tier talent, he had to tread carefully to avoid disaster. Let's test it on one feline beast first. With that, Evan activated another universal skill, Cat's Step. Cat's Step F. For 3 minutes, all movement, jumping, and climbing actions produce no sound. In this world, skills were divided into 3 main types. Talent skills, profession skills, universal skills. Talent skills were active abilities awakened from one's innate talent. Profession skills were self-explanatory. Universal skills were accessible to all professions. Appraisal I was the most common universal skill, possessed by every awakened. Cat Step was another. Many inexperienced students thought Cat Step was useless. But to Evan, it was a skill worth upgrading, not a single skill point wasted. Activating Cat Step, Evan silently approached a lone feline beast from behind. Then, Beast Harmony kicked in. Meow. The feline beast, licking its claws with a menacing air, suddenly froze in abject terror. Its body trembled uncontrollably. It felt an overwhelming, regal pressure bearing down on it. Thud! Without hesitation, the feline beast spun around, dropped to the ground, and bowed to Evan. At the same time, its heart swelled with awe and affection for this human figure. Seeing the quivering beast prostrate before him, Evan's face lit up with a just-as-I-thought smirk. Beast Harmony, SSS when activated, intimidates all beasts, instilling deep-seated reverence and loyalty, treating the user as their sovereign. Note, effective on dragonkind up to 20 levels above the user. While he couldn't tame the feline beast, this effect was as good as taming. Slash. Without hesitation, Evan plunged his novice longsword into the beast's head. The feline beast let out a single cry before collapsing dead. In its final moment, its face radiated blissful contentment, as if being killed by Evan was an honor. Mission progress. Feline beasts, 1/30th. Next, Evan tested Beast Harmony on 2, 3, even 4 feline beasts at once. All successes. No time to waste, let's finish this. Having taken down half the required beasts, Evan leapt into the center of the valley, boldly revealing himself. Meow. The remaining dozen or so feline beasts screeched, claws raised to attack. But, Beast Harmony activated again. Thud. The ferocious beasts instantly dropped, their hostility replaced by reverence as they knelt before Evan. Slash, slash, slash. With swift strikes, Evan dispatched the dozen feline beasts cleanly with his novice longsword. The sword, originally with 50 durability, was down to just 8. After slaying 42 feline beasts, Evan earned 420 experience points, leveling up to 11. But that wasn't his main focus. What mattered most was the system's rewards. Ding! Congratulations, host, for completing Phase 1 of the Novice Mission. Distributing rewards. Congratulations. You have received 1 vial of Divine Fire Marrow. Congratulations, you have received 20 free attribute points. Now issuing Phase 2 of the Novice Mission. Mission objective. Successfully tame the juvenile Blazing Holy Dragon. Rewards. 3 B-tier profession skill books. Penalty none. Time limit, 24 hours. Please complete the mission promptly. Evan's heart raced. The Divine Fire Marrow was his ticket to taming the dragon egg. With 20 free attribute points to allocate in a tight 24-hour window to tame the juvenile dragon. The stakes were high. He took a deep breath, ready to return to the orphanage and tackle the next phase of his journey. Hiss! At this moment, Evan let out a long breath, steadying his racing heart. This was his turning point. Would the Divine Fire Marrow really boost his chances of successfully taming the dragon egg? Evan's dream of becoming a combat job holder stemmed from a simple desire: to protect the rundown orphanage. Annie never told him, but he knew the orphanage's benefactor had passed away 2 years ago. The benefactor's daughter had no interest in continuing the funding. For the past 2 years, Annie had taken on 3 extra jobs to keep things afloat. If this continued, she'd collapse. Without her, the kids at the orphanage would suffer even more. So, this was make or break. Evan retrieved the dragon egg from the system's inventory, still radiating warmth. The moment it appeared, the egg quivered slightly, as if annoyed at being stuck in the dull inventory. Then he pulled out the vial of Divine Fire Marrow, gently uncorking it. Whoosh! A surge of pure, fire, elemental energy burst forth. The heat wave drew in surrounding fire elements like a magnet. No wonder it's an S-tier treasure, Divine Fire Marrow. Evan marveled silently. Such pristine Divine Fire Marrow. If absorbed by a fire mage, it'd skyrocket their fire attributes. As the pure aura of the Divine Fire Marrow spread. Thump! Thump! The unhatched dragon egg bounced twice, radiating intense longing. Want a sip? Be good and let me tame you, and it's all yours. Evan grinned, setting the vial aside. He cradled the quivering egg, which seemed to exude a haughty air, and whispered, "Don't worry. Once you're tamed, the whole vial of Divine Fire Marrow is yours." The egg, mid-wiggle, froze. Evan activated his soul skill. Dragon taming art. On the egg once more. Congratulations. Taming successful. What the? It worked on a first try. Holy crap. This little dragon must be a total foodie. Caving the moment it saw the Divine Fire Marrow. Of course, his SSS tier talent, Beast Harmony, played a massive role. Most low-tier dragons, like Earth or Flying Dragons, were already tamed and docile. But sub-dragons and higher-tier dragonkind were notoriously aloof and hostile toward humans. Yet this egg hadn't resisted much when Evan held it. That was Beast Harmony's passive effect at work. At that moment, intricate, flame-red patterns appeared on Evan's body. These mystical patterns spread from his fingertips, enveloping the crimson dragon egg. The red flame patterns intertwined with the egg's golden veins. Evan felt his consciousness connect with the egg, forming a profound bond. He could even sense how desperately the juvenile dragon craved the Divine Fire Marrow and the warmth and trust it felt toward him. As the bond deepened, the egg suddenly blazed with dazzling light. Crack! The light enveloped them, and Evan heard the unmistakable sound of the eggshell splintering. This meant the egg was hatching. The juvenile, blazing holy dragon was about to be born. Whoosh! The blinding light receded like a tide. When Evan looked down at the egg in his hands, the shell was gone. A tiny, adorable dragon hatchling poked out, clutching the Divine Fire Marrow vial with its little claws and chugging it down. I finally have a dragon companion. Overwhelmed with joy and nerves, Evan studied the hatchling closely. Its body was covered in deep red scales that shimmered enchantingly under the light, like a small fireball ablaze. A pair of wings, laced with golden patterns, slowly unfurled. Its golden eyes squinted in delight, savoring the divine fire marrow like it was the finest delicacy. Though small and kitten-like, the power radiating from its limbs sent a chill down even Evan's spine. Its master. On its chest, a golden flame-like pattern flickered in sync with its breathing, as if proclaiming itself the lord of all flames. The bond was complete. The hatchling was now Evan's dragon companion, bound for life, never to part. No need for appraisal eye. With a single thought, the hatchling's details appeared before Evan. Dragon companion, blazing holy dragon, endless flame lord. Nickname TBD. Gender, female. Age, less than 1 month. Level 1. Core attributes, strength 300, intelligence 300, constitution 270, agility 270, no buffs, gear, or items applied. Innate skills, flame immunity S. Passive skill, as the endless flame lord, immune to 100% of fire attribute damage. Breath of flame S. Active skill, spews dragon flame forward, dealing massive fire damage to all enemies in a frontal range. Divine Flame Scale Armor, S. Passive skill. Dragon scales are the ultimate defense, reducing the power of all attacks by 70%. Destructive Flame Claw, A. Active skill. Dragon claws ignite fiercely, slashing forward to deal damage to all enemies in a fan-shaped area. Terrifying. Absolutely insane. What were these outrageous core attributes? And of its 4 innate skills, 3 were S tier, 1 A tier. In this resource-scarce world, forget A-tier skill books. Even C-tier ones were insanely valuable. A C-tier skill book could fetch at least 10 million dragon coins on the market. And good luck finding one to buy. Yet this dragon, fresh from the egg, came with 4 overpowered skills. No wonder dragonkind stood above all. No wonder no beast tamer had ever tamed a high-tier dragon. Their starting line was further than most people's finish line. Recalling the job awakening ceremony, where classmates mocked and ridiculed him, Evan couldn't help but sneer. Weakest job? I'm strongest now. Burp. At this moment, the juvenile dragon, having finished chugging the vial of divine fire marrow, let out a satisfied belch, a tiny puff of flame escaping its mouth. Then its small, delicate body wriggled, nuzzling Evan's hand with an almost clingy affection. It was hard to imagine a creature as noble and proud as a dragon cuddling so innocently in Evan's arms. Just then, ding, the system's electronic chime rang out again. Congratulations, host, for completing Phase 2 of the Novice Mission. Distributing rewards now. Reward. B-tier skill Mark of Enmity. Reward. B-tier skill Draconic Frenzy. Reward. B-tier skill Dragon Claw Strike. Rewards distributed. Now initiating the final phase of the Novice Mission. Mission objective. Raise your dragon companion to level 10. Rewards. 2 S-tier passive profession skills. Penalty none. Time limit. 30 days. Please complete the mission promptly. Mark of Enmity. B places a mark on a target, causing your dragon companion to harbor intense hatred toward it, increasing damage dealt to the target by 15%. Draconic Frenzy. B enters you and your dragon companion into a frenzied state, boosting all core attributes by 20% for the duration. Dragon Claw Strike. B transforms your hands into dragon claws, striking enemies in front with high damage. Another lavish haul. The system clearly knew Evan was still weak, showering him with generous rewards in the novice missions. It seems the strength of a dragon rider isn't just in controlling dragons. Their power also fuses into the rider. Evan mused, his eyes gleaming as he read the skill descriptions. Notably, his attribute panel hadn't changed. His core stats remained balanced at 15. Evan didn't mind, with a dragon companion this strong. As long as he wasn't reckless, he wouldn't need to worry about dungeons or duels in the future. Of course, while Evan's talent wasn't the best in his class, his combat training scores had always topped the charts. The heavens hadn't given him a stellar talent like others, but they'd blessed him with exceptional combat instincts. In spars, even if he couldn't overpower his opponents, his skillful maneuvers ensured he could hold his own against anyone not overwhelmingly stronger. Chirp! Right now, the juvenile dragon was gently nuzzling Evan's chest with its adorable little head, its golden eyes sparkling with joy. Since drinking the divine fire marrow, The fiery patterns on its scales glowed even brighter. Evan gently stroked its head, murmuring, "You don't have a name yet. Let's give you one." Chirp. Hearing this, the dragon stood upright, its tiny claws flailing excitedly at the prospect of being named. But Evan knew. Don't be fooled by this little one's harmless act around him. The moment an enemy or monster appeared, those cute claws would turn into razor-sharp blades, tearing foes apart. Its stats were downright monstrous. I was going to call you Great Flame King, but you're a girl, so let's go with something cute and elegant, Evan said with a grin. Churn, the dragon's eyes drooped at Great Flame King, but perked up at the mention of a cute, elegant name. I love 2 lines of poetry. Sulfur kindles the flame, and green thoughts brew new wine. And you love guzzling divine fire marrow like a little drunkard, all red and fiery. How about sulfur wine for your name, with a nickname Ember? What do you think? Evan chuckled. Chirp, chirp. The moment Evan spoke, the dragon's anxious, expectant eyes widened. Its radiant golden eyes, clear as gemstones, sparkled with delight. It nuzzled Evan's chest vigorously, clearly thrilled with a meaningful name. All right, it's settled. As Evan spoke, the dragon's status panel updated instantly. Name, Sulfur Wine. Omikneem, Ember. After snuggling against Evan for a while, Ember suddenly leapt up, flapping its tiny wings hard. Whoosh! A gust of wind nearly knocked Evan off balance, swirling fiercely. Ember shot into the air. No doubt about it. Dragons were the lords of the skies. Ember's ascent was so fast Evan's eyes could barely track it. Once airborne, Ember spread its wings, curling them around its body, hovering as it absorbed the golden sunlight. Thump! Thump! Even from the ground, Evan could hear Ember's powerful heartbeat. She's digesting the pure energy of the divine fire marrow. The divine fire marrow was an S-tier treasure. After all, its fire elemental energy was incredibly pure and potent. Though a holy dragon, Ember was fresh from the egg, still in her juvenile phase. Unlike mature dragons, she couldn't instantly process such a massive influx of fire energy. As she absorbed it, Ember's kitten-sized body visibly grew. Half an hour later, hovering in the sky, Ember slowly unfurled her wings, adorned with golden flame patterns. Her body now stretched about 1.6 meters tall. She radiated a scorching aura that was both awe-inspiring and chilling. Evan had no doubt. If Ember breathed fire at the nearby hill, she could melt its peak in seconds. Whoosh! Having fully digested the divine fire marrow, Ember descended. She landed before Evan. Chirp! She gleefully pounced into his arms, her now larger head nuzzling him affectionately. The little rascal hadn't realized how much her size had changed. Evan strained to support Ember's enthusiastic cuddling while checking her updated status. Dragon Companion, Blazing Holy Dragon, Endless Flame Lord. Name, Sulfur Wine. Nickname, Ember. Gender, female. Age, less than 1 month. Level 5. Core attributes, Strength 500, Intelligence 500, Constitution 450, Agility 450, no buffs, gear, or items applied. Absorbing the full energy of the S-tier divine fire marrow, Ember only gained 4 levels. Impressive. What was going on? For a level 1 human, consuming and digesting an S-tier treasure would easily propel them to a dozen levels. Yet for Ember, it was just 4 levels. This showed how much more experienced dragons needed to level up compared to humans. Of course, that's exactly why their attribute gains per level were so terrifying. Strength and intelligence jumped from 300 to 500. Agility and constitution soared from 270 to 450. Good grief. No wonder they were dragons. Chirp! Suddenly, Ember, who had been affectionately nuzzling Evan, snapped her head up, her golden eyes locking onto a corner of the small valley. Following her gaze, Evan spotted a group of minotaur beasts clutching stones. Monster, Minotaur Beast. Level, 12. Type, Beast Monster. Skills, Stone Throw, Horn Charge. Aptitude, Black Iron. Note, a common monster in the dusky forest mountains, fond of eating feline beasts, their natural enemies. Seeing the Minotaur beasts, Evan realized they were here to hunt feline beasts in this valley. They just didn't expect. All the feline beasts were already dead. In their place was a blazing, holy dragon. Clatter. The Minotaur beasts, initially brimming with aggression, trembled under Ember's overwhelming aura, their eyes filled with terror. They dropped their stones, weapons meant for killing. Clearly, in the presence of this supreme dragon, the courage of these lesser beasts had been utterly crushed. Chirp! Though annoyed that the Minotaur beasts dared interrupt her bonding moment with her master, Ember obediently turned to Evan for instructions. Master, can I kill them? Evan had no reason to deny her. With her master's approval, Ember's eyes lit up with glee. With a powerful flap of her wings, whoosh, so fast Evan could barely track her, Ember zipped to the terrified Minotaur beasts in an instant. Without hesitation, her mouth opened slightly. Breath of flame. Roar. A massive column of fire erupted from Ember's mouth like a waterfall, and in a split second, the Minotaur beasts were engulfed in flames, burned to ashes without a trace of bone left. Instant kill. Evan stood stunned. Without his SSS tier talent Beast Harmony, even handling one feline beast had been a struggle. Even if he won, it took a toll. Facing 2 or 3 feline beasts at once, he'd have to flee. It wasn't that Evan was weak. Monsters were simply far stronger than creatures of the same level. Otherwise, why did so many awakened form teams to venture into the dusky forest mountains? Feline beasts were tough enough. Minotaur beasts at level 12 were even worse. To take down a pack of Minotaur beasts, you need a 5-man level 15 adventuring team. But before the noble, blazing, holy dragon Ember, it was a matter of a single breath. Talk about overkill. Evan figured Ember could have swatted the Minotaur beasts with a single claw. She just didn't want to dirty her claws with them. Dragons, after all, matched humans in intelligence and carried an unmatched elegance. Even their eating habits weren't like common demonic beasts, gobbling raw flesh. They demanded carefully prepared or exquisitely processed meals. Chirp! Having effortlessly wiped out the Minotaur beast that would have given Evan a headache, Ember flapped her wings, zooming back to him excitedly. Her expression screamed, "Praise me quick!" "Great job!" Evan laughed, reaching out to pat her head. When Ember killed monsters, Evan shared the experience. His level rose from 11 to 12. Chirp! Basking in the praise, Ember stretched out her claws, patting her scale-covered, flame-patterned belly. Thanks to their bond, Evan instantly understood. She was hungry. This made him laugh and cry. This little glutton just chugged S-tier divine fire marrow. And now she was hungry again after one burp. "Can you eat the feline beast and Minotaur beast corpses?" Evan asked. He wasn't well-versed in dragon habits, assuming they'd eat monster carcasses like common demonic beasts. Chirp! As expected, Ember shook her head in disgust. She wasn't eating that gross stuff. She wanted gourmet food. All right, we'll make gourmet food. But first, we'll hunt some unicorn rabbits and horned spirit deer. I'll roast a whole deer and rabbit for you," Evan said with a grin. This trip to the dusky forest mountains was meant to last a few days. Evan's storage space was packed with spices and outdoor survival gear. He hadn't expected to finish the 30 feline beast kills so quickly, thanks to Beast Harmony. Roar! Hearing Evan promise gourmet food, Ember let out a delighted bellow, her wings flapping hard as she shot into the sky. Her presence terrified nearby demonic beasts, who collapsed trembling, too scared to move. Dragons were the apex predators of this world. In just 10 minutes, Evan watched in awe as Ember circled the area, her powerful limbs snatching over a dozen unicorn rabbits and horned spirit deer. Seeing the adorable dragon scampering about happily, Evan could only chuckle indulgently. Oh well, what else could he do but spoil his little dragon? While Evan was prepping ingredients for a barbecue. In another valley of the dusky forest mountains, thwack! A burly man swung a massive axe, effortlessly cleaving 2 feline beasts in front of him. As a level 14 warrior, killing feline beasts was a breeze. Of course, that was thanks to the priest buffing him. Weapon blessing. Body enhancement. You're amazing beauty. Not only do you have a level 10 purple tier staff, but you got a C tier support skill, body enhancement. Without you, we wouldn't have killed this many feline beasts, the burly man laughed heartily. The other 2 burly warriors joined in. They were 3 brothers. The eldest was Big Dragon, followed by Second Dragon and Third Dragon. Receiving their praise, Sophie Sue said nothing, only nodding slightly, her demeanor tinged with aloof pride. Fully absorbing the energy of the S-tier divine fire marrow, Ember only gained 4 levels. Remarkable. What was this about? For a level 1 human, digesting an S-tier treasure would easily catapult them to a dozen levels. Yet for Ember, it was merely 4 levels. This highlighted how much more experienced dragons required to level up compared to humans. Of course, that's precisely why their attribute gains per level were so staggering. Strength and intelligence surged from 300 to 500. Agility and constitution leapt from 270 to 450. Good lord, truly worthy of being a dragon. Chirp! Suddenly, Ember, who had been nuzzling Evan affectionately, snapped her head up, her golden eyes locking onto a corner of the small valley. Following her gaze, Evan spotted a pack of minotaur beasts clutching stones. Monster, minotaur beast. Level, 12. Type, beast monster. Skills, stone throw, horn charge. Aptitude, black iron. Note, a common monster in the dusky forest mountains. Fond of eating feline beasts, their natural enemies. Seeing the minotaur beasts, Evan realized they were here to hunt feline beasts in this valley. They just didn't expect. All the feline beasts were already dead. In their place was a blazing, holy dragon. Clatter. The minotaur beasts, initially brimming with aggression, trembled under Ember's overwhelming aura, their eyes filled with terror. They dropped their stones, their weapons for killing. Clearly, before this supreme dragon, their courage had been utterly extinguished. Chirp. Though annoyed that the minotaur beast dared interrupt her bonding time with her master, Ember obediently turned to Evan for instructions. Master, can I kill them? Evan had no reason to refuse. With her master's approval, Ember's eyes sparkled with glee. With a mighty flap of her wings, whoosh, so fast Evan could barely track her, Ember zipped to the terrified minotaur beasts in an instant. Without hesitation, her mouth opened slightly. Breath of flame. Roar. A massive column of fire erupted from Ember's mouth like a waterfall, and in a split second, the minotaur beasts were engulfed, burned to ashes without a trace of bone left. Instant kill. Evan stood dumbfounded. Without his SSS tier talent beast harmony, even handling one feline beast was a struggle. Even if he won, it took a toll. Facing 2 or 3 feline beasts at once, he'd have to flee. It wasn't that Evan was weak. Monsters were simply far stronger than creatures of the same level. Otherwise, why did so many awakened form teams to venture into the dusky forest mountains? Feline beasts were tough enough. Level 12 minotaur beasts were even worse. To take down a pack of minotaur beasts, you need a 5-man level 15 adventuring team. But before the noble, blazing, holy dragon Ember, it was a matter of a single breath. Talk about overkill. Evan figured Ember could have swatted them with a single claw. She just didn't want to dirty her claws. Dragons matched humans in intelligence and carried unmatched elegance. Even their eating habits weren't like common demonic beasts, gobbling raw flesh. They demanded carefully prepared or exquisitely processed meals. Chirp. Having effortlessly wiped out the minotaur beast that would have troubled Evan, Ember flapped her wings, zooming back to him excitedly. Her expression screamed, "Praise me quick! Great job!" Evan laughed, patting her head. When Ember killed monsters, Evan shared the experience. His level rose from 11 to 12. Chirp. Basking in the praise, Ember patted her scale-covered, flame-patterned belly with her claws. Thanks to their bond, Evan instantly understood. She was hungry. This made him laugh and cry. This glutton just chugged S-tier divine fire marrow. And now she was hungry again after one burp. Can you eat the feline beast and minotaur beast corpses? Evan asked. He wasn't well-versed in dragon habits, assuming they'd eat monster carcasses like common demonic beasts. Chirp. As expected, Ember shook her head in disgust. She wasn't eating that gross stuff. She wanted gourmet food. All right, we'll make gourmet food. But first, we'll hunt some unicorn rabbits and horned spirit deer. I'll roast a whole deer and rabbit for you. Evan grinned. This trip to the dusky forest mountains was meant to last a few days. Evan's storage space was packed with spices and outdoor survival gear. He hadn't expected to finish the 30 feline beast kills so quickly, thanks to beast harmony. Roar! Hearing Evan promise gourmet food, Ember bellowed delightedly, her wings flapping hard as she shot into the sky. Her presence terrified nearby demonic beasts, who collapsed trembling. Dragons were the apex predators of this world. In just 10 minutes, Evan watched in awe as Ember circled the area, snatching over a dozen unicorn rabbits and horned spirit deer with her powerful limbs. Seeing the adorable dragons scampering about happily, Evan could only chuckle indulgently. Oh well, what else could he do but spoil his little dragon? While Evan prepped ingredients for a barbecue, in another valley of the dusky forest mountains, thwack! A burly man swung a massive axe, effortlessly cleaving two feline beasts. As a level 14 warrior, killing feline beasts was a breeze. Thanks to the priest buffing him. Weapon blessing. Body enhancement. You're amazing beauty. Not only do you have a level 10 purple tier staff, but you've got a C tier support skill, body enhancement. Without you, we wouldn't have killed this many feline beasts. The burly man laughed heartily. The other two burly warriors joined in. They were three brothers, Big Dragon, Second Dragon, and Third Dragon. Receiving their praise, Sophie soon nodded slightly, her demeanor aloof and proud. Of course, don't you know who Miss Sue is? She's the heiress of Su Qinghua, the magnate of Serenity City. Outstanding talent, illustrious background. Teaming up with Miss Sue is an honor for you three. Sophie remained silent, her expression cool. Jake stepped up, boasting arrogantly. Kevin Liu adjusted his glasses, equally smug. Initially, they'd wanted to refuse the three bruisers' invitation, but after a few intimidating words, they'd caved instantly. Now, calming down, they felt they'd lost face in front of their goddess, Sophie. So, they tried to mend the fence after the cow's gone, leveraging Sophie's status to intimidate the bruisers, hoping to earn their respect. Exactly. What an honor for us. Right. Teaming with Miss Sue is a privilege for ordinary awakened like us. Rest assured, we'll keep Miss Sue safe. After Jake's spiel, the three bruisers flashed sycophantic smiles. But, unseen by the others, a glint of greed and malice flickered in their eyes. Let's go. Keep moving, Sophie ordered coldly. The bruisers eagerly complied. They couldn't wait to venture deeper. The deeper they went, the fewer adventurers around. Only then could they execute their plan without worry. Time flew by. Day 2 arrived. Evan's location had shifted beyond the dusky forest mountains. The terrain here was rugged, with towering peaks and sparse foot traffic. Most monsters were level 15 or 16. Only seasoned adventuring teams dared hunt or treasure seek here. Last night, Evan had prepared a lavish barbecue for his little dragon. Ember ate with such gusto, she forgot the world. Evan felt her affection for him grow even stronger. Of course, he hadn't expected his neglected E+ lifestyle talent, culinary mastery, to shine so brightly now. Roar! The quiet valley echoed with a dragon's roar. Boom! Followed by a fierce explosion of flames. Before Evan stood 5 armored rhino beasts, clad in tough scales, known as black scale demon rhinos. Level 16, black iron aptitude. But now they were charred, lifeless husks. Against Ember's might, these monsters stood no chance. Successfully looted. Obtained 5 black-scale demon rhino hearts. Successfully looted. Obtained 5 black-scale demon rhino horns. Successfully looted. Obtained 500 black-scale demon rhino scales. Evan collected the valuable loot. Hearts for potions, horns for weapons, scales for armor. For the penniless Evan, this was a fortune. At that moment, Evan leveled up again, reaching level 13. As expected, killing monsters above his level yielded massive experience. His status panel had changed significantly. Name, Evan Sheen. Age 18. Level, 13. Profession, Dragon Rider. Talents, Beast Harmony, SSS. Culinary Mastery, E+. Core attributes, Strength 40, Intelligence 40, Constitution 30, Agility 30. Profession skills, Dragon Taming Art S. Mark of Enmity, B. Draconic Frenzy, B. Dragon Claw Strike, B. If others knew he'd gained 2 levels in 2 days, their jaws would drop. In this world, where resources were monopolized by elite academies, organizations, and noble families, a commoner leveling twice in 2 days was astonishing. But Evan knew his growth was just beginning. Meanwhile, Ember's level remained stuck at 5. Clearly, high-tier dragon companions needed vast experience to level up. Gotta keep hunting. Evan rubbed his chin, resolved to press on. Of course, during hunts, Evan didn't rely solely on Ember. He seized opportunities to fight solo against black-scale demon rhinos without her interference. To others, He might seem like he was asking for trouble, but to Evan, it was essential. Even with a powerful dragon, he couldn't slack off. Boosting his own strength would make him more versatile in battle. Deeper we go. Evan exhaled slowly, his expression firm. Chirp. Sensing her master's resolve, Ember brimmed with enthusiasm. 3 days passed in a flash. On a mountaintop, having just slain a level 18 azure crystal leopard, Evan, bloodied and battered, rested in an open clearing. His clothes and basic armor, after 3 days of fighting and training, were in tatters. But his level had soared to 15. 5 days. From level 10 to 15. Such terrifying leveling speed was unheard of. If the media caught wind, it'd spark a frenzy. Ember's level also rose from 5 to 7. Dragon Companion. Blazing Holy Dragon. Endless Flame Lord. Name: Sulphur Wine. Nickname: Ember. Gender: female. Age: less than 1 month. Level: 7. Core attributes: Strength 800, Intelligence 800, Constitution 670, Agility 720. No buffs, gear, or items applied. These attribute gains were insane. Just 2 levels. Yet her core stats jumped by 200 to 300 points. Terrifying. Ding. Congratulations, host, for activating a random mission. Hero saves beauty. Mission objective: successfully rescue Miss Sue, heiress of the Sue family. Rewards: 2 diamond chests, 1 legendary chest. Penalty: none. Time limit: 12 hours. Please complete the mission promptly. Just as Evan planned to continue rampaging through the dusky forest mountains with Ember, the system, silent for days, chimed in. A random mission had triggered. HM, Hero Saves Beauty? Reading the mission, Evan froze. He recalled Sophie Sue's team, Jake Joie, Kevin Liu, and those 3 menacing bruisers, entering the dusky forest mountains. Damn, those bruisers were trouble. As expected, it made sense. Sophie was flaunting a rare level 10 purple tier staff. It was like a toddler waving gold in the streets. An innocent man with a treasure invites trouble. Being targeted was inevitable. Ember, activate your spiritual domain now. Sense every movement around us. Evan ordered swiftly,